Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and I'm joined here by these three retrobates. We'll be discussing a movie, a 2002 movie, starring a well-known comedy actor who's no longer with us now and sadly missed in the world of entertainment. But this movie is very different from the roles we know him for playing in these movies. This is a very serious and quite creepy role. We are talking the film 1 Hour Photo, starring Robin Williams. So, without further ado, we will go around each of these cast members and ask for their opening thoughts. Let's go to Connor. Connor, what's your opening thoughts on 1 Hour Photo?
Never heard of this movie before. And upon seeing the release date, 2002 was a pretty big year for Robin Williams because, of course, that was the year Insomnia came out as well with Al Pacino. So it was really kind of the year of Robin Williams branching out and trying new serious roles. And what an actor. Seriously, what an actor. One of the best straight actors that was a comedian that I've ever seen. Probably the best. He's insanely creepy. He's got such energy. He's got in this role, particularly, it feels like there's something bubbling away underneath the surface that you can't quite work out. And because of, without sounding insulting, the way that he looks, he's kind of able to pull off this creepy outcast sort of persona, and he does it so well here. Unbelievable performance, unbelievable movie. I kind of have an affinity towards small scale thrillers like this, and this one was a great one. I like the idea of using photographs as sort of an entrance into the story, how he becomes obsessed with this family through that connection of being a photo, what's the word? The photo guy. I don't know the exact job title he has.
Developer, isn't he? Or something like that. Photo developer.
And just how his whole world just starts to sort of begin to revolve around this one family and how he kind of inserts himself into that family dynamic and also events that he's almost come into in direct contact with by again, dealing with the photographs that this family keep bringing to him to get printed. Phenomenal movie. Really, I think it's mainly his sort of flagship. It's around his performance that the movie really works. Everyone else is just kind of there. It really is kind of Robin Williams' movie. Yeah. Nothing particularly twisty or turny about it. What I did like, and I'll probably go more into detail in this in the favourite parts section, is how it did what Joker did last year, where it kind of blurred the lines between reality and delusion / dream state, where you don't quite know what's real and what's not. And the ending, I love ambiguous endings. And that was an ambiguous ending because you don't know what the hell is going on, what he's thinking, what he's feeling, what even the situation is. Great movie. I'm glad that I watched it now.
Brilliant. This is what I like about this group. We don't stick to the mainstream. we don't stick to one type of thing. We go off on a tangent, and sometimes you come across movies like this and you think, wow. Let's go to Susan.
All right. Robin Williams was properly brilliant in this. It starts off where he is collecting images of other people and building a Walter Mitty life around those other people and inserting himself into their lives through this wall of stolen photographs. And he works at an immaculate supermarket an immaculate supermarket. Nothing is out of place. The aisles are perfectly clean. There's no spills. There's no discoloration anywhere. There's no dirt anywhere. It's an unnatural situation. And he works there, and he is, and he lives alone, and he lives in an immaculate apartment. And I think I'm gonna do a study here on Geeks Assembled about whether or not people who live in immaculate, completely white environments are really that's just a manifestation of mental illness. I mean, so yeah, I think that a lot of Robin Williams roles are about people who are obsessed. Some of them funny, some of them serious. This one is incredibly, incredibly painful. It reminded me of a movie that John Travolta just did called The Fanatic, which we got to see at Boston Comic-Con. That was it's the same sort of, personal invasion movie, which has, it has a that one has another element to it, but this one is it's incredibly intense and sad in so many ways. It's depressing and sad. So that's my opening thoughts. Back over to you, Lee.
Thank you, Susan. Right, we'll go to Ethan. See what he thinks of this.
Yeah, it's funny, when I started watching this, a lot of it started to come back to me, and I remember watching this when it first came out. I think I only saw it twice, but yeah, the funny thing about comedians is they could be so funny and lovable, but they could play some really serious, creepy characters. And great reference there from Connor about Joker. That's exactly what I thought. I love ambiguous endings as well, where it's like Joker or King of Comedy or Brazil. You're thinking, what the hell? You don't know that ending where there's the shot of them in the photo together. Is that the aftermath? Do they make up, or is it in his mind? That's the thing. And I thought it was quite twisted at the end, where if you think about it, when the cop says, why did you terrorize them? And he says, you're a good father, you wouldn't take disgusting pictures of your children. So, which clearly is a hint, Sai's father must have used it for child pornography. So did Sai turn into his father when he was terrorizing them at that hotel? Because he turns into a totally different person, doesn't he? You could see him fighting with something. So he turned into his father. So that is a really horrific, dark theory where that's why he's the way he is. His own dad used it for child pornography. But yeah, what a brilliant psychological film. It's just so creepy. And I remember my mum getting creeped out by it as well. Like when he goes into the house, uses the toilet. I remember my mum going, oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, he plays it so well. And even the other actors.
Ethan, he didn't actually use the toilet.
I know.
The seat was down.
Yeah, I know that. I'm saying
when
he uses the toilet.
I had to double look at that, but the seat was down.
I know he didn't use the toilet. It's his hallucinations and imagination. But he still, you know what I mean. That bit, that scene. But anyways, what and how he interacts with the child was always really good. And I'll get to favorite moments about something in a minute. But yeah, all the actors played really good parts in it, and it's quite neat. As you said, no twisty or turny bits. Small twists. Like the woman who's having the affair with the husband, and then it becomes like, you know, just this turn of events. But yeah, really good film. I really enjoyed watching this again, actually. And again, Robin Williams, I wish he was still with us. What a man, what a legend. But yeah, really enjoyed this film. Good choice.
Thanks, Ethan. Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched this. It was quite a pleasure to sit down and rewatch it this week. And I totally forgot what a powerhouse of a performance Robin Williams puts into this movie. And it is his movie. As Connor said, the rest of the cast are there, but he's up there. And he's Mr. Bland, isn't he, in this movie? He's Mr. Bland. Nobody notices him. Nobody cares about him. You know, he lives a single life, as you say, in an apartment. Yeah, but also as well, the way they made his character out to be bland. You know, the pale skin, the pale clothes, even his hair was sort of dyed blonde. In this drab white blank supermarket, everything was pale, except only with the photographs and the family. There was the colour. In the photographs there was a colour. The family there was a colour. That was the colour in his life. It was the photos and everything like that. It's the way they made this movie was just brilliant. You know, the way everything in his life was just pale. But yeah, I totally agree. Comedians do make great actors for powerful performances, and it has been done in the past. You know, it's been, you know, another hero of Ethan's, Mr. Carey. He can put out creepy, powerful performances in straight acting roles. There's other comedians as well, but Robin Williams, as Connor says, this was his year of being creepy. Because he just mentioned another film earlier, Insomnia, which is an awesome film.
Yeah,
that one. Yeah, but yeah, I really do like this movie. It's not one of, you know, special effects or anything like that, but as you say, it's the ambiguous things. Was that real? Is that real? But we know, so most of it is in his head. You know, he's imagining him as Uncle Si. But brilliantly done. I don't even think this won any awards or anything like that, to be honest. I'm gonna have to check on that. But it should have done if it didn't. But so shall we go to favourite moments and things what you're not so keen on? Let's go back. Ethan. Caught you.
Yeah, I was trying to look up awards it won. Did it? I mean, it got. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it won. It won a couple. Yeah, 2 awards: Best Actor and Best Breakthrough Filmmaker.
Oh, right.
So yeah. Favorite moments. I have to quickly point this one out because this is one of my favorite things about the movie. Is the interactions with Si and the boy, the son, are brilliant, and I loved the Neon Genesis Evangelion action figure. And as a lover of anime, that's one of my favorite anime shows. But a fun fact is that's Robin Williams' actual figure. He was a fan of the cartoon. Robin Williams was a massive fan of anime. For example, his daughter was named Zelda. He even said he wished if they did a live-action Pokemon, he wanted to play Professor Oak. But yeah, he was a fan of Evangelion. So that actual figure they use in the film is from his own personal collection. It's one of those. It's one of those movies again where it does like. I think kind of like Joker, where it gets to a point in the movie where you think, does it sort of end there, and the rest is imagination? Does that make any sense? You know, where it gets a bit like really out there and stuff, and he's really going like, I'm going after them with a knife and stuff. I love movies like that where you're thinking, is this in his head? or is this actually happening? Has he now gone over the edge? But and yeah, it's just creepy like that. Or that I remember the first time I watched it, that nightmare sequence made me jump like out my fucking trousers when he had the bleeding eyes, and I was like, but luckily this time around I was like, oh, I remember this. But I'll never forget the first time I saw that. I was like, bah! But and yeah, the twist of him turning into a totally different person, taking the photographs. I mean, yeah, it's a real disturbing, uncomfortable scene, but it says a lot, you know, like what about the whole thing I said, like about his father and stuff, that sort of hints at the end. And I've already said about the ambiguous ending, you know, I love endings like that. Is that real or not? I think those are my favorite moments because the other imagination bit was when he's in the house.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first time I saw that, I was thinking, oh my God, he's actually broken into their house. Oh my God, he's using their toilet. Or he's just kicked the boy's car. And then, of course, when they come in, they're like, oh, hi, Uncle Si. And I'm like, oh, right, it's one of these ones. But it's a great, I mean, he just gives such a powerhouse performance in this. Or when he does that roll of film and gives it to the boss and Yoshi. I tell you, every time they said Yoshi, I was expecting someone to go, Yoshi! Super Mario.
As you would.
But when he gets the photos and gives it to his boss, and it's the boss's daughter, that was quite creepy. And I remember when I first watched that, I thought, oh God, is he going to go after that guy's daughter and kill her or something?
Yeah.
But obviously he doesn't. But a lot of it came back to me when I was watching this. But yeah, I think those are my favorite moments because I don't want to. Everybody else has got their own.
Well, if they've got the same moments as you, they can, say it as well. Let's go. Connor's on, mate. We'll go to Connor then.
Yeah, I think pretty much I'm with Ethan there. To me, it's not so much a movie about favorite moments, like, and I keep going back to this reference, but it is like Joker, pretty much where the standout of the movie is the performance, the main performance, because like Joaquin Phoenix kind of transcended the comic book character of the Joker to something far more creepier. Robin Williams is able not to do so much the same here, but he's able to stand out in such a way that you cannot look past him, really, in terms of finding favourite bits, because it's really, it's centred around his performance. And yeah, something that Ethan did remind me of there, some of the tension in the scenes. For example, where he's sat on the sofa watching TV with the beer and the family walk in. That's like it's tense moments like that grab you, and turn this really into rather than just an average psychological thriller, which are always the best types. One movie I kept thinking of actually, and it's not the same premise. In fact, I don't think it's the only similarities they share really is the use of photos. Is much like Insomnia, another Christopher Nolan film called
Memento, by any chance?
Memento, yeah, which is I recommend as well, which is a fantastic movie. It's just kind of it's really a movie built on character. I think.
Yeah,
moments.
I agree.
So Robin Williams' performance is undoubtedly the best part. I don't see how anything can kind of go above that, really. It just really is his performance. And I'm glad that he won a Best Actor award for it. This or Insomnia that year should have got him an Oscar, or at least an Oscar nomination, because that's two fantastic performances in the same year in psychological roles like that. What an actor.
Yeah. What talent. Susan.
Yeah, so my favorite parts in this are when the Gary Cole character, his boss, is like confronting him. And at first he thinks it's just such a positive experience. And then that goes off the rails in a big hurry, in a big way. And then he's and then he is when he's fired, he drives to their house, and that's when all of your favorite moments, the Connor and Ethan, that's when your favorite moments happen. The thing that's really unnerving is how he's not only just sort of stalking them in a far away sort of way. He actually is. He's moving in towards them, but I mean, there's always something. He's not, when he imagines himself around the Christmas tree with them, he's sitting on the other side of the room, and he doesn't lift the seat to sit on the actual toilet seat. There's always like a barrier between them that, even in his imagination, he can't breach. And then the police become that barrier.
Yeah.
And that was really, his psyche was really interesting because his relationships, he doesn't have any concrete human relationships outside of the Gary Cole relationship. There's nothing normal about any of his relationships at all. And that's really fascinating. And I think it was really well written. I think, hang on. It was written by Mark Romanek and directed by Mark Romanek. So, I mean, how he wrote that was phenomenal. And I've really enjoyed seeing it, not enjoyed sort of like yay, but enjoyed like yeah. So anyway, a deeply psychological movie. The other thing is that he doesn't have a very high-end camera. For someone who is at a photo place, he uses basic equipment. He's got, at work, he's got access to an Agfa developer and printer, which is a beautiful piece of equipment. I mean, yes, for a few of the shots, it was turning them blue, but for most of the time, Agfa is a fantastic piece of equipment. But then when he goes to do his own things, he's using a pocket point and shoot, which is pretty cheap. Anyway, some interesting things that I brought out of that, because it was always like, he wasn't fully invested, but he was pretty. Until he interacted with the husband, and then all of it came out. So, interesting.
Yeah, well, for me, you've said most of the things that stand out. Apart from Robin Williams' performance, but the one stand out for me is where he confronts the husband and the lover in the hotel room. He's got the knife, telling him, I didn't tell you to cover yourself up, blah, blah, all of that, demanding him to get on the bed, do these positions, and he's clicking away on the photos, and, he's pounding on his head. That scene there is just out of this world. And then at the end of the movie, you find out he didn't even take any any photos of that. So he was just putting them through that because the husband was a bad husband. He wanted him to suffer. And also the scene as well. It began at the beginning, but also at the end, where he says, "Can I see the photos?" Asking the police, "Can I see the photo?" No, you sit there. We're asking you questions and stuff like that. But yeah, it is an amazing movie, and it's sort of looked at. People seem to forget about this movie he did, which is a shame because it deserves. Everybody deserves to see movies like this once in a while. Anything else? What anybody like to say about this?
One scene I forgot to mention is when that kind of illusion of him with the blood in his eyes and it kind of, explodes. It's kind of like, that reminds me of, in a sort of, maybe the director took inspiration. It's kind of like a Kubrick sort of imagery there. There was maybe some Kubrick element to it as well, which was interesting. The manager, for someone who I think was very much... from Sai's point of view, the antagonist of the piece before the husband really his private life started to unravel. He was a real arsehole, I thought. I almost felt sorry for Sai. And Sai did some very, wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of, in moments like that, it's weird, you seem to connect more with the disenfranchised person in that particular dynamic, even though they've done something wrong. Again, similar to Joker. Kind of like, and as you mentioned, the scene in the hotel room, it gives Sai's character a sense of control. I thought that, like, my perception of that scene was that it was just him taking control, really, for once in his life. And yeah, at the end, you find out he didn't even take any photos of it at all. So again, that's kind of like, is that a power move sort of thing? Just there's so many complexities to Robin Williams' character there, even though, the plot of the movie isn't particularly all outstanding, new and original. Performances like that is what cinema really is all about, I think. It's them sort of performances that should stand the test of time and should be acknowledged, really.
I agree. You get an actor, he gets a script like this, and it takes a brilliant actor to elevate the script from the page to the screen with that sort of performance. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? No. Right, we'll go to final say and score then. Susan.
All right. Well, my impression of the movie from my talk with Alex before watching it was that it would be really super devastating, but I just found it really more psychological than that, and it started me thinking about when the protagonist, who is an antagonist in a movie, it lives in a perfectly white room working at a perfectly pristine environment. Are they is that a sure sign of somebody going off the deep end? And I'd like to do some more filmic research about that. And the other thing is like that was it was interesting that he had a little hamster, and the hamster, he cared for the hamster well, so he was able to care for somebody else, and he just wanted to make it that family, and that's why it went off the rails. Anyway, I'll give it 7.5 out of 10. No, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 from Susan. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah.
Connor.
Yeah, it gets an 8.5 from me. I think, just to comment again on Robin Williams' character, is that he's not a bad guy, really. He did some wrong things. But at the end, you don't think that he did it for any other reason than maybe his care for the family. I think he had more of a connection to the mother and the son rather than the father. So to expose the father for his adultery was kind of, I think, his way of saying, you know what, I care about this family, the well-being of this family. I don't want the son and the mother to get hurt. And you kind of, again, like Susan mentioned, you see that with the sort of the hamster. He has that caring nature to him. Yeah, characters like that are just endlessly fascinating to watch. And studies could be done on roles like that, and it would be interesting to see what Susan's conclusion comes up with that survey in particular about the cinematography and the way that the environment's portrayed and mental health, because I think there's a real case to be made there as well. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Thank you, Connor. And finally over to Ethan.
I'm gonna give it 9 rolls of film out of 10. 9 rolls of film out of 10. I think it is just a great. We've constantly made references to other films, but if you look at like Joker and the film King of Comedy, Robert De Niro's character in King of Comedy, where you think, oh, he seems a normal guy, but then you find out what he's up to. It's films like this are very clever, very good at looking into the mind and character studies and stuff. So, fantastic movie, and hope we keep getting more of these over the years. So yeah, 9 rolls of film out of 10.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't do film or digital. It's I'm going to give it 9 Polaroids out of 10. Does it still Polaroids? Show me age. Yeah, 9 for me. Thoroughly enjoyable. Just for the performance from Mr. Williams, and it does make you think about mental health. And if you come away thinking with that in your head, thinking about that, the movie's done some good, I think. Mm-hmm. And, that was our discussion of 1 Hour Photo. I'd like to thank you 3 guys for joining me. You guys out there for watching. We know who you are, just the one. Please, if you like this, please leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about this 1 Hour Photo or Robin Williams. What favourite movies of his you like, or we could discuss in future casts. Please contact us. We're on Facebook, Twitter. I've got Instagram as well. As Susan pointed out, sometimes I've got loads of pictures on there of all the movies we've done. So, and if you'd like to join, just leave us a message and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So until next time.
Hey, like and subscribe also, and hit the bell.
I forgot about the bell, the ding ding. yeah, hit the bell on the YouTube and you'll get notified from all the videos we put. So until next time, stay safe, look after yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you in a week's time. Bye for now.